Hello, everyone. This is our guest, Mr. K. Harris. Would you like to introduce yourself?
All right, how's everybody doing? Good morning. My name is Mr. Harris or Mr. Keenon Harris. I am a teacher, fifth grade teacher. I teach fifth grade English, and I am an alumni from King Drew. I was right where you were, 15 years ago? Yeah, I'm kind of old. So that's just a little bit about myself. I feel honored and blessed to be here with you all right now and just to be sharing my experiences and sharing my career path and what I do.
Why did you choose this career?
So I chose to be a teacher because I did some self-reflecting. Well, first and foremost, I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. I grew up in LA. About 4 years ago, I moved to Houston. So when I moved to Houston, I started working as a substitute teacher. And, that kind of gave me the motivation and, the drive to, be in education and just to kind of have a career in education. And I just, I learned that it's my purpose. My purpose is to, serve and educate, young and, the youth and just to be that light for them and just to help them, succeed and just to have that academic success.
Morning, Mr. Harris. Was your current career your dream career when you were in high school?
No, it was not. It was not. It's funny because when I was in high school, I originally wanted to be an actor. That was my dream, is to be in movies and go to Hollywood. And I did try it, but ultimately, I've learned that this was a better fit for me. Before I started teaching, I got my major. I may be jumping ahead a little bit, but I got my degree in speech therapy. So I was working as a speech therapist assistant for about 6, 7 years. I was working for LA Unified actually. So, that was again kind of what motivated me to go more in depth into education and to where I am now, being a teacher.
When did your when did you start to see your current career as something that you should pursue?
When I was substitute teaching, that was kind of the spark, that started it all. And prior to that, I have worked with children in many different capacities. But when I was substitute teaching, that's when I was in the classroom. I felt comfortable. I felt like okay, this is something that I could do. And I just it just felt good to be in the classroom and just to connect and engage the students the way I was at the time at the sub. And that from that I became not became, but I took they call it an ACP. It's called Accelerated Accreditation Program, and that's pretty much offered, for people who have their bachelors and a different, their bachelors in, their BA, and for those who want to go into teaching and education, that's the way that they could go into teaching without having to go back to school and do it all over again. So that's what helped me to earn my credentials and just to be a overall just to teach and be in education.
Could you tell us what a general salary for someone in your position looks like?
A general salary. Well, we all know teachers still typically don't get paid. They don't. They're not. It's not the most lucrative career, but there are teachers, who, like for me, example, I make about for in Houston at least in Texas, they can make about 50 to 60K a year, depending on their background, how long they've been doing it, their experience and whatnot. However, in other states and other cities, that number varies. I know in Los Angeles, um, from based on my research, I think in LA they get paid, about 70K around that range, a little bit more than out here in Texas. I could be wrong about that. It could have changed. But yeah, they roughly make about 50K to 60K a year where I'm at in Texas.
What was your career like before COVID-19 and how has it changed?
Uh, yeah, it's definitely changed. Before COVID, everything was, normal. It wasn't relying on virtual classrooms. Oh, she's right. No, they weren't, we weren't relying on virtual classrooms or relying on Zoom, meetings and whatnot. So that's definitely a big change. I kind of prefer, to be honest with you, I'm ready for the students to get back in the classroom just because although it does offer teachers, some flexibility, teachers wouldn't have to worry about setting up our classrooms a certain way. It kind of gives teachers more flexibility, but I feel like it's, it's harder for me, at least in my experience, is more of a challenge to keep students accountable and making sure students are engaged and that they're understanding the content and that they're, just, their overall, academic success, them learning the content that's being taught. And I think that's something that's lacking, now with COVID. Now that it's not hands-on, it's not in person, kind of missing that, things being hands-on. And so that's just my, experiences and my feelings with how it was before COVID and after COVID.
What motivates you to work in your career choice every day?
What motivates me, just the simple fact that it's a privilege for me to teach. It's a privilege for me to teach, the youth. Also, just being a teacher, you're really responsible for somebody, for what a child, for what a student is learning. You're really responsible for that. The teacher, you could argue that students possibly spend more time with their teachers than they do at home or with their parents in some cases. So just knowing that I'm responsible for, shaping and molding the minds of students and the minds of the youth, that motivates me right there to, to wake up and, come to class and, do what I do.
Is your workplace people oriented? If so, how do you maintain good relationships with coworkers and slash or colleagues?
Oh, absolutely. It is, just working with students and not only that, but your colleagues are working with other teachers. It is, teamwork. It's definitely other teachers that you have to communicate with, from even administrators, down to the parents, to the community of the school is definitely, um, you know, a lot, a lot relies on your relationships with your coworkers. And, if the relationships, are good and if sorry, I'm getting distracted, but if good relationships are fostered, that could definitely, help with, just the environment, just with the way you teach the students and what they're learning, your mood, your temperament. If you're in a workplace that's kind of toxic, where it's a lot of tension, nobody's really getting along with each other, that could definitely, impact the students and impact, the school and the climate of the school and the classroom in general. So yes, having good relationships and being people oriented is definitely a big part of teaching and education.
Do you see the value in students learning things that can help prepare them for the future? What key points would you like students to take away from your presentation?
I think that it does impact, just teaching. And, I think one aspect is technology. That's something that, now, with we're in a pandemic and a lot of instruction is virtual based technology, it gives room for technology to kind of play a big part because that is ultimately what it's ubiquitous, it's everywhere. Technology, you have to utilize it in order to have a successful career, or when you're in the real world, when you're outside of the four walls of the classrooms, it's definitely important to use that to your advantage, to your benefit, and to help you to do well and succeed in life. I'm not sure if I answered your question, and I know that was the second part of the question. Can you repeat the second part?
What key points would you like students to take away from your presentation?
Key points. The main thing is, life is a journey. Be patient. You never know where you'll end up at. Like I said, when I was in high school, when I was your age, I definitely wanted to have a certain type of career, but, life has brought me to where I am now. I'm not upset at it at all. I love what I do. I appreciate it. There's no regrets. So, life is a journey. Just go, it's going to be lessons. It's going to be mistakes that are going to be made. But at the end of the day, you'll ultimately end up to where you want to be.
What encouraged you to give your presentation to our high school students?
I want to encourage me. I'm from that's where I went to high school at. I gotta come back and talk to the students who are there now, and show them that, hey, I was once in your shoes, and you know here I am, just being a teacher in Houston, Texas. I had to move and go somewhere, different, a different scenery, a different change of pace. But I just wanted to tap in and touch bases with, the current students of King Drew, and just to, you know, come back as an alumni and share my journey and share, my career path and what I've done with y'all. So.
Did King Drew prepare you for the career you're taking part of? And if so, how?
Oh, it definitely did. Just simply just through the teachers and educators that I've encountered, from Miss Thigpen, even Miss Cooper. I was definitely a student in their classrooms. And, Miss Thigpen, she left an impression on me because I was a part of the leadership program in my senior year. And, I was that kind of broadened my horizons and opened my eyes up to what I can do, and just being involved into the school and just being around different people and being able to connect, and just ultimately it just exposed me to a lot. Exposure leads to expansion. So shout out to Ms. Thigpen for that. Mr. Lee is another teacher. I'm not sure if he's still there. So just the teachers, just the overall community of the school, just helping me to get into college, the college that I want to get into, and just helping me just succeed throughout high school is pretty much sums that up.
Can you share some memorable good and bad moments from your career or life after leaving King Drew?
Good moments are, me going to college, I went to Hampton University. If you can't tell, that's Hampton, that's HU. Going there, that really helped me, again, because it gave me a chance to, go somewhere different. At the time in LA back then, there was a lot going on, just with gangs, just with the violence, especially throughout Compton and just South Central in general. So I really, really wanted to get out of the city and go somewhere different, and just to, just to see something different and meet different people. And that's ultimately what happened. That's one of the most proudest decisions that I made. As far as low moments, I can't really say too much. It's definitely ups and downs in everyone's journey and everyone's path. Um, and I've, learned lessons and got through those moments. I would say a low point would have been, I would say moving out to Houston and adjusting to life and adjusting to living out here was a challenge. You know, we moved out here right before Harvey hit, you know, Hurricane Harvey. I'm not sure if you recall that, but that was a big, you know, hurricane that came and, you know, just destroyed a lot of homes in Houston. So, you know, just overcoming that and just trying to get on our feet out here was, you know, definitely a big learning experience for me. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's a lesson, not a loss. You know, it's something that you learn and grow from. And I see some questions in the chat box. So one question is, what characteristics do you think are needed to be a teacher? All right, so that's a good question. I think to be a good teacher, you really have to, you know, have know your purpose and really want to be around kids and really want to, you know, help build them, you know, and have that, just have that attitude, just have a good positive attitude and just a good outlook. Some teachers teach, you know, just for the paycheck and they just kind of do it, you know, just because it's, you know, one of the more secure jobs to have or careers to have, you know, as some would say. But at the end of the day, if you don't have that drive, if you don't have that motivation, then your students are going to pick up on that, and it's not going to be, you know, easy. It's not going to be a successful career if your students aren't learning, if your students aren't engaged or connected with their teacher or their instructor. So that's you know, some traits that I feel like, you know, teachers have to have. Just definitely being caring and really empathizing with others and being able to connect with others as well. All right. All right. Is there any more questions that anybody want to ask? Is there anything?
There was a question on top of that one. Somebody said, have you ever thought about teaching older students?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And it's funny because when I first started teaching, I was teaching second grade, but now I'm teaching fifth grade and I feel, you know, more, you know, like this is a more better fit for me to, you know, teach. And I've thought about teaching, you know, secondary schools or high schools and middle schools as well. You know, probably definitely high school. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I'm still growing. I'm still, you know, learning in my field. You know, I don't know everything yet. I'm not an expert. It's definitely going to be, you know, I'm definitely still on this journey as an educator. All right. Did you enjoy being a speech therapist assistant? Would you consider being a speech language pathologist? I did enjoy being a speech language assistant. And well, what happened was to be a speech language pathologist, the I was on that path, but going to grad school was going to grad school to be a speech language pathologist. It required a lot, and at the time, I had a lot on my plate, and it just wasn't. It would have been very challenging. But you know, I definitely encourage, you know, if you want to be an SLP or speech language pathologist, it's definitely a great field to be in. There's definitely a lot of opportunities. There's definitely, you know, a lot of in need of a lot of you know, blacks and browns and people of color in general, especially males. You know, there's definitely a lot of room in that field. So I definitely encourage you to pursue that if that's what you're interested in, for sure. Definitely. All right. How do you build relationships with students and parents during distance learning? That's a good question. Um, just talking, just communicating, especially with the parents, you know, keeping them in the loop of how their student is performing. You know, also with students, just building relationships with students, you know, just talking to them outside of, you know, not just the general talking to them about about their interests and about what they like. and about, you know, what they dislike, and, you know, just having those conversations with them, just not being all about school and if did you do your homework or did you turn this in, you know, just really taking that time to know them, know what they like, know what they dislike, their favorite food, their favorite, you know, sports, their teams, games, and all that. Just building relationships and just being there for them, you know, and understanding them.
Are there any thoughts or wisdom that you would like to leave us with?
The main thought, wisdom I would like to leave, and I believe I said this in the interview, is just life is a journey. Just, you know, really take your time with it. Don't feel like you have to rush. You know, always, of course, there's nothing wrong with setting goals and trying to accomplish and follow through with the goals. But, you know, at the same time, you know, it's good to be flexible. You know, it's good to kind of take your time. You know, my 20s, or not my, but when I was in high school, I really was felt like I had to be here at this time. I want to be here at this time. I want to have this type of career. I want to be over here. You know, I had a lot. You know, I was very ambitious, but I had to learn to, you know, be flexible and to understand that things may not turn out how you expect them to turn out, but that's not a bad thing because you have to allow yourself to be open to, you know, what life has to offer you and allow yourself to grow. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you. We have no more questions.
All right. Do y'all miss going back to campus?
I tried my first day on Friday with the hybrid, but
Somebody said nope. Y'all like so being at home is that's more comfortable for a lot of you. You'd rather be at home, distance learning. Home is better. And like I said, I disagree. I need my students in the classroom. It's a lot to keep up with. But you know, everybody different. You know, it's different for different people.
And don't we have one student who's here with us today in the classroom? One of my students maybe would like to put on their camera. Where are you? Maybe not. Maybe they don't. It's a little scary, but it is nice to see a few of you on campus coming in at a time. It's been a long time. Yeah. Yeah, home is better because there's no mask. But yeah, but it gets, you know, it's nice to do something different, and getting out of the house is definitely different since we've been there for so long. So, and it is so nice to see you in person because it's been a year. Normally summer happens and you come back and feel like, ooh, you've grown. Now it's been a year and you're a whole nother person.
Right. So y'all don't miss being at school and seeing your friends and being on the basketball court on top of that roof. Y'all don't miss that. Y'all don't miss the cafeteria salads. That's what hey, back when I was in high school. That was it. Those salads. We called it county salads, but
I don't think they have those anymore.
oh, they don't. See, I'm
Where
old.
you guys had a salad bar.
We did the salad bar.
Right.
Yep.
They got a little box lunch, the kids who came back this week.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
everything's already boxed up, packaged up. Yeah, you
What
guys had
about-
it good. You didn't even realize that
Right.
salad bar and the pizza and everything. Mhm.
I used to tear that pizza up. That pizza was good.
With ranch. Right.
Oh yeah. See, you know, yeah. Put the ranch on the pizza, and that was lunch. Ain't the healthiest, but you know, we But it's good to be back here. It's good to speak with all of you. It's good to you know, connect with King Drew. Ms. Cooper, it's really good to see you. You were my AP Science, Environmental Science teacher.
No, so when Keenan came on, I was like, oh, Mr. Harris is here. And he is such a grown man. And I didn't even recognize him. As soon as you started talking, I could see all your manner. I go, oh, that's Keenan. It was like such a different person now.
Yep.
But we're very proud. I know I am. So
Very.
I really
Appreciate that.
appreciate you coming today and speaking on behalf of teachers, one of the best professions, in my opinion, some of my favorite people.
Right.
And I love your point that we spend sometimes more time with our students than with our own children, or, you know, that they are able to spend with their own parents. So it's a special relationship and it's still strong even after all these years. So thank you so much for being here, for sharing your story with us. And students, you may give your shout outs if you would like in the chat. And I believe your teachers will have a fabulous evaluation for you to complete as well.